It was supposed to be the happiest day of his life. The bride glowed with joy, the groom stood proud, and by his side was the man he trusted most, his best friend, chosen as the best man. Laughter filled the air, promises were spoken, and the celebration seemed endless. Everyone thought the bond between these two men was unbreakable, forged over years of brotherhood, loyalty, and countless shared memories. But what no one knew was that beneath the smiles, beneath the speeches, a storm was brewing. A storm that would transform a trusted best man into a sworn enemy. Welcome to our channel, where we bring you gripping stories that reveal how fragile trust can be and how quickly love and loyalty can twist into betrayal. If you enjoy these powerful narratives, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It's a simple click that keeps you connected to stories that open your eyes and keep you thinking long after the video ends. Now, back to the wedding day. The best man raised his glass and spoke words of honor and friendship. His voice cracked with emotion, his jokes made the room laugh, and for a moment it felt as though this friendship was stronger than ever. But sometimes, words are only masks, carefully placed to hide the truth underneath. Because while the groom celebrated the start of his new life, the best man was already plotting to take it all away. It began with whispers, subtle remarks here and there, small enough to seem harmless, but sharp enough to leave wounds that couldn't be seen. A quiet doubt planted in the bride's heart. A little comment slipped to family members. A story twisted just enough to make people wonder. The best man knew that destruction doesn't always come from a single blow. It comes slowly, like poison spreading through the veins. And what drove him to this betrayal? Was it jealousy? Was it love for the bride he could never have? Or was it resentment, built up from years of living in the shadow of the groom's success? People would later argue over his motives, but the truth is simple. Envy can rot even the strongest bond. The groom, blinded by trust, didn't see the danger. He still laughed with his best friend, still shared his secrets, still leaned on him for advice. He didn't know that the man standing closest to him was already sharpening the knife of betrayal. This story isn't just about two men and a broken friendship. It's a reminder for all of us. Sometimes the greatest danger comes not from strangers, but from those who stand right beside us, smiling. And sometimes it's not the enemies outside who destroy us, but the ones we once called brothers. The night of the wedding ended with music, dancing, and promises of forever. But in the shadows, a darker promise was taking shape. The best man had made his decision, and soon the groom's life would change in ways he could never have imagined. The morning after the wedding, everything seemed perfect. The couple was glowing with happiness, families were still buzzing with joy, and the best man, as usual, was right there in the middle of it all. No one suspected that behind his smile was a plan already in motion. Because betrayal doesn't always strike fast. It waits, it watches, and it strikes when you least expect it. It began with subtle interference. The best man started showing up uninvited, offering help that wasn't needed, making himself indispensable. He knew that trust, once built, could be used as a weapon. And so, he played the role of the loyal friend, all the while weaving threads of doubt into the marriage. He whispered about things he heard, hinted at secrets the groom supposedly kept, and carefully chose words designed to plant suspicion. At first, the bride brushed it off. She trusted her husband. She believed in the vows they had just exchanged. But doubt, once seeded, is hard to erase. She began noticing little things, moments that didn't add up, late nights explained too casually, conversations that felt cut short. None of it was real, but the best man didn't need it to be real. He only needed her to believe it could be. The groom, still blind to his friend's true nature, kept leaning on him for support. When the bride grew distant, the best man was there to listen. When arguments broke out, he offered advice. But his advice wasn't neutral. It was calculated, designed to push them further apart. He positioned himself as the confidant, the peacemaker, even as he stoked the fire that was tearing their marriage apart. And soon, the cracks became impossible to ignore. Arguments turned into fights, suspicion into accusations. The bride confronted her husband, the groom grew defensive, and every attempt at reconciliation seemed to collapse under the weight of invisible manipulation. What they didn't realize was that the person fueling their pain was the very man they both trusted most. Behind the scenes, the best man was enjoying the chaos. For years, he had stood in the groom's shadow, watching him succeed, watching him marry the woman he secretly longed for, watching him live the life he felt he deserved. And now finally, he had his chance to bring it all crashing down. He didn't need to strike loudly, he just needed to keep pulling strings until the entire structure collapsed. The saddest part, the groom never suspected. Not once did he believe that his best friend could betray him so deeply. That's the power of trust. It blinds us to danger when it comes from those closest to our hearts. But betrayal always has a cost. The best man thought he could control the game, but he didn't realize how quickly lies can spiral out of control. And soon, his plan would take a turn he could never have predicted. The storm reached its peak on a night that started like any other. The bride confronted her husband once again, this time with a trembling voice and eyes filled with doubt. She had proof, or so she thought. Proof that came not from her own discovery, but from carefully crafted lies whispered by the best man. She accused her husband of betrayal, of living a double life, of hiding truths from her. The groom was stunned. He denied everything, begged her to believe him. But the seeds had already taken root. Every word he spoke sounded like an excuse, every defense like another layer of deception. The best man's poison had done its job. It had turned love into suspicion, and suspicion into near hatred. What neither of them realized was that the best man had gone further than just words. He had forged messages, manipulated situations, even staged encounters to make it look like the groom was being unfaithful. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was strategic, calculated, ruthless. But lies, no matter how carefully built, always leave cracks. And that night, as the bride stormed out of the house, something unexpected happened. She passed by a neighbor who had witnessed the best man sneaking around earlier, planting the very evidence that was now destroying their marriage. The neighbor, confused and concerned, told her everything. At first, she didn't want to believe it. How could the man who stood at the altar with them, who toasted their future, who called himself family, be the one destroying it all? But the details matched too closely. The pieces aligned too perfectly. Her anger, once directed at her husband, now shifted toward the man she thought was their greatest supporter. Meanwhile, the groom sat broken, still unaware of what had been revealed. He thought he was losing his wife forever. He thought trust was gone, love was dead, and their story was ending in ruins. Little did he know, the truth was about to come to light, and with it, a confrontation that would shake the very foundation of their friendship. The bride returned, calmer, but with fire in her eyes. She didn't accuse her husband again. Instead, she asked him a single question. "Do you trust me enough to face him together?" The groom, though confused, nodded. For the first time in weeks, there was unity between them. They called the best man over, pretending they wanted to clear the air, to resolve the tension. He came confidently, certain that his web of lies had them trapped beyond repair. He didn't know that his own mask was about to be ripped away. And in that moment, the stage was set. Truth and lies were about to clash, and the man who thought he had control was about to discover just how quickly a game of betrayal can turn against the player. The living room was tense, silence pressing down like a heavy weight. The best man sat comfortably, confident, even smug, while the couple sat across from him. The bride leaned forward, her voice calm but sharp. "We know what you've been doing." The best man laughed it off at first, brushing it away like a joke. But then she spoke again, this time with the neighbor's account, the evidence of his stage deceit, the little cracks in his lies that had finally been exposed. His smirk began to fade. The groom, still heartbroken from weeks of torment, finally found his voice. "Why? Why would you do this? You stood by my side when I married her. You called me your brother." His words carried both anger and sorrow. The best man's mask crumbled. Out spilled the truth. Jealousy, resentment, the belief that he deserved the life his friend had built. He confessed to manipulating, lying, and scheming, thinking he could shatter their marriage and step into the pieces. It was a betrayal so deep it stunned them both. The bride's face hardened. "You didn't just betray him. You betrayed both of us. You betrayed love, trust, and every bond we thought was unbreakable." The groom, shaken but resolute, made a choice. He didn't fight back with violence or hatred. Instead, he cut the man out of their lives entirely. The door was shut, the bond severed forever. Betrayal had burned the bridge beyond repair. But in the ashes of deceit, something remarkable happened. The couple, once torn apart by lies, found a new strength in their unity. They realized that trust isn't about never doubting. It's about choosing to stand together even when doubts arise. They rebuilt, not perfectly, but stronger than before. The best man faded into the background, a reminder of how quickly envy can turn love into war. And though his betrayal left scars, those scars became lessons. Lessons about guarding your circle, protecting your peace, and never letting someone else's bitterness define your happiness. So, if there's a message to take from this story, it's this. Be careful who you let close to your heart. Not everyone who claps for you is happy for you. Sometimes, the loudest cheers hide the deepest envy. But when truth stands firm, lies crumble, and love, real love, always finds a way to endure. Thank you for staying with us through this story. If you found it powerful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily videos like this. Stories that not only entertain, but also carry messages worth remembering. And here's one to leave you with today. Betrayal may break bonds, but truth rebuilds lives.